everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. Today we've got Johnny Litecoin. He had an amazing tweet today. He was really trying to educate some maxis. They were just not getting it. So we're going to have him share the truth about that and kind of talk about how MWeb versus Lightning, and will we see Litecoin overtake Bitcoin? He'll be right back right after this. Give us a like and share the video. Welcome back, Johnny. Good to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. How's everybody doing?
Everyone is great. Great to have you. Thank you for sharing this tweet with me today. I was reading through it and I just thought, man, their bags are blinding them. They don't even get that they are so happy to use a layer 2 and be beholden to, possibly having to use money transmitter licenses, which you brought up, and the liquidity issues, which you brought up, and that, MWeb is completely different because it's layer 1 of Litecoin. Can you kind of talk to this so what they were trying to say about just talk about this whole tweet, because I just thought it was crazy.
So Crypto Llama's a good guy. He just he's actually has in his thing, he's a Litecoin maxi. So he I think he just misunderstood a little, because he was saying that if they delist Litecoin, that means they will delist Bitcoin as well, because people were saying, what if they delist Litecoin because of MWeb? He was saying, well, then shouldn't they delist Bitcoin because of Lightning Network? And that was his argument. And I just, I wasn't knocking him. I just kind of wanted to put more truth out there. So I said, hey, I said they are actually completely different, because MWeb is built into the Litecoin base layer, and Lightning requires liquidity in certain channels to route the transactions. Those operating Litecoin routing nodes will most likely have to obtain money transmitter licenses. So Lightning is kind of like DeFi. It's kind of it's almost like a DEX in a way. Okay. You have to have liquidity in order to send a transaction through. That's how a DEX works. You can't go in and do a swap unless there's liquidity in that pool. Same idea as Lightning. Now, Lightning, you can't use it in like a non-custodial manner. Really, everything is used through custodial solutions. That's why Wallet of Satoshi was really popular. Now that got taken out of the App Store. Why did it get taken out of the App Store? Because they're bringing the hammer down on Lightning apps, saying that they need a money transmitter license. Okay, so let me set the record straight. I actually like Lightning. I don't dislike it, right? I just like the truth to get out there. I see Lightning as a good solution in the future for certain things. Now, I want everyone to realize Lightning was never created or intended to move Bitcoin around. It was created to move US dollar around.
Really? Okay. I didn't know that.
And I'll prove it. This week, there was a tweet by David Marcus showing how he was the guy that used to be with he was the guy that was going to be with that Facebook Libra project, and then he left that. He's the CEO of something called LightSpark, and they've created a way to send Lightning to anybody's bank account. So you send Bitcoin to like a Wells Fargo account, but it's not, they don't get Bitcoin, they get dollars, but it's through Lightning. Now, I like this for moving US dollar around. I think this is a lot better than the current system we have of the banks being the ones that okay the transaction. I'd much rather Lightning Network settling into Bitcoin to move US dollar around than the banks talking to each other, communicating with each other. I think the banking system being involved is too much red tape. So I think Lightning at least provides some transparency, but I do want to set the record straight that it wasn't intended to move Bitcoin around. It's intended to move US dollars around. Now,
Interesting.
Now, Lightning, people that run these Lightning routing nodes that want to make money from it, they put liquidity in a channel. They're called LSPs, Lightning Service Providers. So just think of that term right there. They're a Lightning Service Provider. They're providing a service. So they, technically speaking, they are money transmitters. Now, I'm going to put something else out there. I don't agree with the money transmitter laws. I think they're a violation of our constitutional rights as American citizens. It's a lot of this stems from the USA Patriot Act, which I also tweeted about yesterday. Not to go on too much of a tangent, but I basically, my tweet yesterday, I said that voter ID is crazy because not requiring voter ID is crazy. Because to access the financial system, we have to do KYC for everything. And how come to vote, we don't have to? And, oh, yeah, I know why. Because the USA Patriot Act was never intended to fight, to catch terrorists. It was intended to be weaponized against the American people.
Right.
So maybe go... If my tweet from yesterday was, I think it was up a little bit after my video I did.
Okay.
If you want
after your video?
It was like, yeah, it was 23. It was 23 hours ago. It shows if I look at it. It was a good tweet, I felt like, because this does tie in with the money transmitter thing and all that.
Voter ID, I see it right here. Okay.
You know, I've been critical about this since they announced it in 2001. I said this was
you and Elon were talking about it.
I was talking about with Elon. So I said, if voter ID is not required, then every American should question why KYC is enforced so heavily in the financial system. Oh yeah, I know why. Because the USA Patriot Act was never intended to catch terrorists. It was created to be weaponized against the American people. That was the exact intention of it. I've spoken about this at length when it was being rolled out. People were, don't you think it's, because I was in college. I was a big critic of it, saying, and people said, well, you want to make it easier for terrorists. I said, they're not going to use this to catch terrorists. They're going to use this against us. And then people said, no, that's not the point of it. I said, what's going to stop them? And I went down the list. What's going to stop them from using it against people they suspect? And people are like, well, what's going to stop them from coming after these people? Then I said, what's going to stop them from just using it against every American? They suspect us all this stuff. So the money transmitter laws stem off of the USA Patriot Act, which I do not agree with. But putting that aside, they are the laws. And Lightning, if you're running a Lightning routing node, being a Lightning service provider, you are technically a money transmitter, and you're violating these laws that were set forth. So as far as MWeb goes, right, let's explain MWeb now, why MWeb doesn't violate money transmitter laws. MWeb needs no liquidity, all right? MWeb is built into the layer one blockchain. It's an extension block. So if you go to the Litecoin blockchain and one of these sites that like a Block Cipher or like BTC apps or any of these sites that scan the blockchain and give you that back end data, you can see every block what was pegged in and out of MWeb. Now, MWeb isn't going to work well if there's not a lot of value in there. It's not going to give you good privacy. If there's 20 Litecoin in MWeb and you send 1,000 Litecoin into MWeb, you could send it in there, right? And then 2 blocks later, you send 1,000 Litecoin out of MWeb. It's pretty easy to track and see, well, who sent that in and out of MWeb. So there's a couple of things that make MWeb more private. One is the amount of value that's in. It's not locked. You can't say it's locked. The amount of value that's pegged in to that extension block. The more Litecoin that's in there, the more privacy you get.
Privacy will be, okay.
All right. And then the longer you're in there, also the better the privacy is. If you keep your coins pegged in there for months and months and months and then peg them out, I don't care what blockchain analytics you're running, it's going to be really hard to determine who pegged that out months later. I mean, that's impossible, especially with a lot of value in there. But it needs no liquidity to function. You could have 0 Litecoin in MWeb, send 10,000 Litecoins in there, and it works fine and comes out. There's no routing node needed to route that Again, it's just the regular miners and nodes that verify all this. Okay. That's the key. Lightning is a layer 2. Lightning requires liquidity in these payment channels and then requires people to run these Lightning routing nodes. Now, they proved this a few years back, how you can also censor Lightning transactions. They blocked a transaction from Roger Ver.
Oh,
and then he kind of did it as a way to prove his point. He said, look, how is this decentralized? You just blocked my transaction because you idiots don't like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, again, they're totally different. Lightning, a layer 2. Lightning is very close to DeFi. It's very close to a liquidity pool in a decentralized exchange. They're virtually identical. They're just technically different.
There's a place for it. It's just not.
There's a place for it. I think there's a good place for it. As in, look, I don't like what they've done with the Fed note. Right. I wish we had a constitutional dollar. But I am an American, so there is, I wish that they reissued the currency in a fair manner backed by silver. And then I'm all about people using US dollar, especially if you have some privacy attached to it. Why not? Why not even if the US dollar was as it's written in the Constitution and a certain amount of grains of silver.
Yeah, I saw an announcement that Russia bought like a bunch of US dollars today, like 30 billion or 30 million or something, which I thought was really strange as they are creating BRICS and moving to BRICS system. Why are they buying US dollars again? Unless they know something is about to pop. I know there's some hearings coming up. The boys were talking about it on Hash It Out, that there's like Gensler's supposed to speak to Congress, and there's some other big hearing coming up before the end of this month that might be some triggers. And then Westwood put on like a Christmas hat. I was like, what the heck is going on? But we were making dinner and I was trying to listen. So
Christmas in September.
Maybe Christmas in September, early October. Yeah, I don't know. So lots going on. But yeah, I really appreciate you coming on and talking about the difference of those two things and kind of clarifying that, and how the importance of MWeb being that layer 1, privacy on that layer 1. And you were going to talk about this change, how there was a trend where, you were seeing Bitcoin kind of rising around the halving and all that, or after the halving, but now there's kind of been a trend, a reversal, and you might be seeing Litecoin taking over.
Oh yeah. So in the crypto world, it's almost like a boss at a job. It's kind of like, what have you done for me lately?
Oh.
You know, like we always joked around, every sales job was like that. You could have the best month before.
Hero to
and
zero.
The current month you're in, they said, well, you're at zero. What have you done for me lately? And kind of in a way, crypto is like that. People have very short memories. So a lot of people forget, oh, Litecoin's performed so bad. It's performed so bad. Well, in the first half of 2023, it outperformed virtually all coins. Litecoin was at $100, $110, and Bitcoin was at 25,000. Now, Litecoin had its halving, and Bitcoin had its halving this year. So there's always excitement around the halving. So I expected Bitcoin to be strong this year. Now, with that said, after Bitcoin made its move, Litecoin became weak. Then people are saying, oh, well, you know, now's still a good time to buy Bitcoin over Litecoin. Yeah, you know, not that it's ever bad to buy Bitcoin, but is it a better time to buy Bitcoin than to buy Litecoin? Well, just look at the ratio. Look at the historical ratio. And all you got to do is even on CoinMarketCap, you can switch from US dollar to everything priced in Bitcoin. You could see how it reverses. It reverses. It reverses. It always reverses course and gains strength back against Bitcoin. So we are in a definitely reversal on the trend. And I think a lot of this, Lisa, is because of MWeb. I think we're only going to see more of this when MWeb hits mobile wallets.
Yes.
Which is happening really soon. That's going to create a lot of demand for Litecoin, built-in demand. Again, it's a very reliable cryptocurrency that has privacy built in. So it's going to be the top coin that has any type of privacy. Bitcoin maxis are going to be using this in private. This is going to be like, they ain't telling anybody.
A dirty secret.
This is like back in the day, you see your neighbor at the gas station buying like a Playboy magazine, and he's got like the glasses and like the fake mustache on, and he's running. It's like, wait a second, you live down the street from me.
It'll be the dirty secret.
That dirty little secret, right? This is going to be the same thing with maxis using Litecoin. They can't admit it. They won't admit it, but they're going to be using it for sure. And it's just the fact that it comes to mobile wallets is going to create an explosion in demand. I expect when it hits 2 or 3 mobile wallets, the amount of Litecoin in MWeb is going to tenfold. So you're going to see a 10-time increase in the amount of Litecoin that's pegged into MWeb. And they
were talking about using that in Cake Wallet. And
Light Wallet, Cake Wallet. Exodus has expressed interest in doing it. There's other wallets as well, but Cake Wallet and Light Wallet will be the first 2. And then we'll see where it goes from there. So really exciting stuff. So I definitely expect even if it wasn't for that fact, I'd still expect the trend to continue of Litecoin reversing. But we're seeing it right now. If you look over the past week, Litecoin's up against Bitcoin about 13%. It's up in the last 24 hours about 5% against Bitcoin. Wow. That's pretty big. So Bitcoin's been kind of selling off, and Litecoin's been kind of not selling up, been being bought up.
Yeah, and Westwood was talking about how much Grayscale has been buying Litecoin as well.
And this is what we want to see, because, okay, someone's Litecoin will have a good day, and then the next day it sells off. Might have a big day, it pumps. I always said I'd love if Litecoin gained like 0.5% a day every day, or 1% a day. I would take that over any kind of pump ever again.
Right.
In my mind, that would be slow organic growth and really keep setting new floors. Litecoin's moved $100 in one day. 2017, I remember having some Litecoin. It went from like $90 to like $200 in one afternoon. And that's obviously a coin's going to correct when it makes a move like that. There's always people that are going to take profit. When it's gaining 50 cents a day, 75 cents a day, $1 a day, that's good growth. And it's doing it the right way. It's gaining, it's selling off a little, and it's gaining more. So it's slowly creeping up. And so it's actually performing exactly the way I want to see it. And as Bitcoin's selling off, Litecoin's gaining. Before I went in, we turned on the show. Looks like Bitcoin just went back over 56. It had went below 56K.
Okay.
And Litecoin is at $66.48. So it's it's definitely moving up. If we look 7 days ago, Litecoin was trading at around $61, $62. If we look 7 days ago, Bitcoin was trading at around $59,000. So Bitcoin's selling off, Litecoin's being bought up. So I would, I always said I'm a buyer of Litecoin. Anything under $100 in my mind is a great time. If you're purchasing Litecoin under $100, you're doing something right. But I always say price it against the Bitcoin pairing to see the true value. Like we always say, how many Litecoins buy you one Bitcoin? Mm-hmm. And that's the real price right there. You could also price it against gold, price it against silver. So I love pricing Litecoin against silver. My plan is when Litecoin pumps or makes a move, I'd like to at some point take 100 Litecoins and buy 1,000 ounces of silver.
Wow.
I think that would be a great move. Now, right now, silver looks expensive compared to Litecoin. Now, I think silver is great. Love silver. But if I had to look at the two assets, historically speaking, Litecoin is cheap versus silver right now. Now, there's been times when silver has been really cheap against Litecoin. We've had that 10-to-1 ratio before where when Litecoin was at $400, silver was at probably $20, $25.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So back then you could have bought 15 ounces of silver for every one Litecoin. So that's my plan is when one Litecoin gets you 10 ounces of silver, take 100 Litecoins and buy 1,000 ounces of silver. In my mind, that's a way better option than converting your Litecoin into fiat. I always say, stay in hard assets. Maybe if you got to pay.
Once you get out of that corrupt system, don't go back.
Don't go back. Don't go. You want to look at this as it's like if you were drowning in the ocean and you made it to shore, you don't go back out and say, let me see if I can make it back again. Right. I made it back the last time, so maybe I can make it. Well, yeah, but maybe you don't make it back the next time. Maybe you get drifted farther out. You got a harder swim back in. You know what I mean? So it's, definitely track those ratios. And now, again, that's why I love pricing asset to asset because, people might say, oh, don't sleep on, don't wait to buy silver. Maybe silver's $40 or $50 an ounce at that point in time.
Well, and I hear once it hits 50, it'll be that unobtainium that it'll go, within hours, within days, it'll be 600, 1,000. So, who knows if that'll even be possible or the exchanges will close because, so we don't even know that any of that will be possible, but it is really important to know those hard asset to hard asset ratios. If you're trying to get out of the corrupt system, know what your goals are, know what you want to hold this in.
It's good to make the goals ahead of time and stick to them. I've been guilty of that in the past, making goals and then, oh, where was that goal I wrote down? Then you're not always
Yeah.
following the goals. Then you look back after and you're like, I should have really done what I said I was going to do. Because
Yeah.
that when you're thinking more lucid and clear. Now, a lot of people would say, well, but what if Litecoin or what if silver is at $40 or $50 an ounce? Isn't it better to be buying it now? Not if you're converting asset to asset. Say Litecoin's at $400 back at its all-time high, and silver is at $40 an ounce. Well, now silver's cheap. Silver's cheaper than it is now because right now, one Litecoin only buys you 2.25 ounces of silver or something like that, right? So if you can, even if silver goes to 40 and Litecoin's at 400, now the one Litecoin will get you 10 ounces of silver. Now silver's cheap, even though it's more in fiat. Remember, fiat's an illusion. It's fake. It's not backed by anything. So it's hard to price anything in fiat when you're looking at value because they're manipulating that so much. You know what I mean? And it's losing such value. So that's why I always say these ratios, gold to Bitcoin, that's another good ratio. You can even say, hey, gold to Litecoin, gold to, another good trade right now would probably be trading some gold for some Litecoin right now. You could probably with 1 ounce of gold, you can get your hands on, I'd say 1 ounce of gold is $2,500. Litecoin at say $65. So you're going to get about 40 Litecoins for 1 ounce of gold. That's a pretty good move right there. Now think to yourself, what has more upside? Maybe gold goes to $5,000 an ounce. That'd be a big move for gold, right? Well, Litecoin did at 400.
Right.
What is more upside? You know what I mean? So
yeah. Definitely sounds like the Litecoin. None of this is financial advice, but but know those ratios and think about, make a plan and then work your plan.
Let me say one thing to Doug. Doug said gold will be over $10,000 per ounce in the near future, silver over 100. I don't know, Doug, and here's why. I agree with you on silver. The reason why gold may not be, there's a lot of gold that they don't let us mine or that's underground, or that it's not profitable to mine at $2,000 or $2,500 an ounce. Well, maybe at $5,000 or $6,000 gold, guess what? It is profitable to mine that gold. Like what Bix talks about. There's gold all on the banks of the Colorado River. The Grand Canyon, there's a lot of gold. There's gold everywhere, but it's hard to get. So it's not really gold that you can get out unless it hits a certain price. Now all of a sudden you talk about
to mine it. That makes sense.
And now the inflation rate of gold goes up because more is coming on the market every day. Remember, gold's not, Bitcoin and Litecoin are completely inelastic. And what that means in supply and demand economics, no matter how high the price goes or how much demand comes in, supply stays constant. There's no increasing the supply. With gold, there is increasing the supply because, again, even though we're not mining it now, we might be mining it at $5,000 or $6,000 gold. So I like where you're at.
The other thing with gold is that no matter, once you mine it, it always will be recycled and can be reused and will never be destroyed, where silver is consumable through medication and technology. Like we consume gold or silver, it actually is depleted. So that's another difference in gold and silver.
Great point. Like a lot of gold jewelry people wear, that could have been gold that Cleopatra wore around her neck. And stuff. So not the Doug, I love your input. Not knocking you at all. Your head's in the right place. I appreciate all the comments because we love the back and forth. And I do think gold's still going to go up in value. I would just think that how high.
And he agrees and says that makes sense. Even at 5,000, it will be great. So yeah, we agree, Doug. Thanks for joining us.
I see
Yeah.
$5,000 gold in the cards for sure. I do
Great
see
to
that.
have another friend join the channel as well. So,
Yes.
thank you guys all for joining us. Johnny, thanks for all the great information and giving us the education about the lightning and the differences between MWeb and that layer 1, layer 2. We love it. It's always great and inspiring to hear, and can't wait for the MWeb to come out in the mobile wallets, and just,
Yes.
just a lot of positive things coming very soon to a wallet near you.
Maybe when that happens, we'll do a live like demo or something on the show.
Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Cool, just to show people how to use it, explain it, and let's be real, like stewards of adoption and get people using this stuff, engaged in it, and let people know what's going on. So, Lisa, as always, thanks for having me. You guys out there, thanks for listening. Thanks for chatting with us. You guys, the people that watch the show are amazing. I've got to meet a bunch of you guys too. So amazing people. Lisa, you're amazing.
And Johnny, you're amazing. We love it. We
Amazing.
love doing the show. We love the community around it, and just looking for solutions for, freedom. And I'm just grateful for everybody watching. So be sure to give us a like, leave us a comment, and we'll see you guys next time here at the New Normal. Take care.
Thanks, guys.